Projects. Yeah, where do we stand? Good morning, welcome. Yeah, I guess we should start with a recap of where we are and a summary of where we're going, right? So, anyway, yeah, yesterday we were building some templates for the pages. So, and just to kind of like recapitulate the story arc of this week. Originally on Monday and Tuesday, what I was planning to do was actually start programming some of the game logic for the game. And that would involve a set of like technologies, WebSockets, like WebSockets, React, and Re-Frame. So I tried to get those work, but for various technical reasons and just my unfamiliarity with the actual technology involved. Spent a couple days trying to like get it to work, and it didn't really work. So anyway, I tried to like kind of take a step back from that since I was getting kind of frustrated with it, and go back to an area of the game that like definitely needs to get finished. So yeah, definitely like equal in priority to the actual game logic itself, but a little more like in my domain and what I can do and what I'm familiar with. And so that has been Hiccup templates for the game pages. So there's a few screens that the game needs, and really cool thing about Clojure is the templating language that you can use for building like just normal HTML pages is the exact same templating language you use with React component. So yeah, it's no skin off of my back if I can't get my React stuff to work, since I can just build these as like static HTML pages, and then when the time comes, I can like very easily convert them over to React components. So that's really cool. And yeah, that went really well yesterday. We got kind of like the plot input screen finished. So I think we will go from there and work on some of the other pages. Right, so we can get rid of this and go to the stream notes. Let's see. Yep, so today we're going to keep focusing on front-end templates. And just like we said before, we don't have to eat the whole pie. So yeah, it was kind of funny because I was expecting to get like maybe some more of these done yesterday, that I actually did. We got like 6 templates here to build, and I finished one. And yeah, from like one perspective, that could be kind of like discouraging, right? Because we've got like a very limited time frame in which to build these things, just a single month, and yeah, it's day 7 of the project, so if a month is 4 weeks of 5 business days, then like in 3 days I've already hit like the halfway point of the project, right? And I don't even have like anything on the internet just yet. However, yeah, that's very like looking at the whole pie mentality, right? So don't have to look at the whole thing, because the whole thing is way bigger than like what you can fit into your head. You're going to get really stressed out and nervous and discouraged if you're doing that. So really trying to like stay focused on the thing in front of me, like directly in front of me, which is putting together these templates. However, I will give 2 examples of how focusing on small things can kind of make you like faster in the long run. Right, so I went back and looked at the stream recording yesterday, and streaming for like 2.5 hours when we were building these templates, and so that can be like kind of a discouraging sign, right? Because that would mean all these templates would take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like 15 hours, right? So that's like, almost 2 full working days, morning and afternoon, building these things. But if you look closely, the first hour of the stream is me just like getting myself set up, and getting things in order, and actually like in a condition where I can actually work on them successfully. And then I built the page in like an hour, right? So, yeah, I did a lot of work yesterday to like kind of get myself like set up. And I think today I'm actually going to make possibly 2 pages because I got all the kind of foundational things finished, and yeah, now I'm in a really good place to just kind of crank them out. Connor's on Twitch says, "Well, hello." Oh man, Connor, you beat Cliff to the chat today. That's a first. Cliff for the past like almost a week now. Yeah, I think he's been watching the streams since last Thursday, last Wednesday. He's had a good morning for me every day at like 9:40 or something. So that's been really nice. Really glad to have you here, man. It's good to have you along. So good morning, welcome, hello. I'm just doing a quick summary. Yeah. So anyway, keep on working on templates today. I think the voting page and the results page is going to be a good goal, so we'll start there. Yeah, I was waxing philosophical on kind of like, focusing on like small achievable goals and, not getting too stressed out about like the progress I'm making because, really I'm getting faster all the time. Another good example of that is the like Vagrant file that I'm building for these projects. So kind of like app server like provisioning and maintenance and configuration and setup is like probably like among my like top 5 like least favorite and like most stressful things I can do in the whole like scope of like web development, app development. And so in the afternoon when we were off the stream, what I was doing was trying to figure out what my strategy was there, since basically got like 2 options, right? I can go with like a hosting service like Heroku, or I can go with just a plain like Linux server offered by like DigitalOcean or Linode or something. So Heroku is definitely a lot easier. They've got like a bunch of kind of pre-built things where you just like send your app up into the internet and it's done, it's hosted. If it goes down, they restart it. They've got all kinds of like really nice tools and analytics and things and utilities that you can get. However, it's like super expensive. For one app, I think it's like, just $25 for the app itself, and then for the database, it'll be another like 25 to 50 a month or something. So if we're talking about like 12 apps over the course of a year, that all of a sudden turns into like crazy like factorial problem in terms of how much I'm spending just to put these things up on the internet. So anyway, thought that just the plain like Linux server thing would be like a ton cheaper, much less expensive. However, comes with the added burden of needing to do it yourself. So yeah, if I was like, going the kind of nervy, like, oh my god, I need to get this thing online yesterday route, then I probably would have just like bought some DigitalOcean like server space and gone in and set it up and had it in. But I decided to, be a little bit calmer, try to approach the problem from like a smart angle, and spent the afternoon setting up this Vagrant file. So I know Connor knows about this, but I'm kind of getting into this for the first time. Yeah, this is like a really cool thing where you can choose like, a default server configuration. You can set up, different, qualities on the server, like how much memory it has, how many CPUs it's using. But most significant for me anyway, is you can actually kind of like script out the server setup process. So this is like updating all the defaults. Software on the machine. This is installing Nginx, which is what you use for like routing for different requests to the server on different ports. And here's like firewall stuff for security. Here's some commands to like install Java, install Clojure, install the CLJ tool. So this is really cool because like each time I do this, all I need to do is like run Vagrant, and all of a sudden I've got like another server for another app, and I don't need to like, track down the 15 blog posts and guides that I used to like set this thing up in the first place in order to launch a new project. So yeah, this will be really great. This will be super useful, and yeah. So it's like taking an afternoon to like do something like the smart way, and it's also just gonna save me like buckets of time in the future. I mean, that like 3 or 4 hours of work I spent like learning Vagrant and setting this thing up is like, you know, kind of like 4 hours condensed down into like 15 minutes for the next app, right? So it's just a super great like foundational building block for me to work on. So anyway, yeah, just thought I'd share that. That's some stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And without further ado, let's get started. So yeah. What did we say we were going to work on? The voting page and the results page. So before we actually get into code land, let's figure out what that's going to be. So I think a good place to start is the voting page. That's going to have the header. That's going to have some kind of like vote headline. Another summary, and then I think like some buttons for like voting on the plots. Okay, title, Hamburglar. All right, so here's the first idea. Think a good way to go, well, I need the header anyway, so that'll be the menu and then the title. And then think to inform, this is really hard to do in a webcam, inform people where they are. They'll have a header like vote or something with a quick description of like what you're actually doing, and then some buttons with everybody's plot, so you can like read the plot, and then if you like it, you can vote for it. So there's my first idea. And I like that because it's like real simple, right? Like we just kind of gather everyone's plots, organize them into a list, and then you know, you just click on the one you like. So there's a first idea. And then another idea, which I think might be good from like a space saving perspective, but definitely more complicated from like a code perspective, would be like a carousel kind of thing. So like the other thing I could imagine would be something like this, where you've got that same header from before, vote. This line would be like a summary of like, you know, what the actual task is. And then like instead of these like buttons over here, what you'd have is like, you know, the text of the actual like plot itself, and then maybe some like buttons for like scrolling like left or right or something. So you can like kind of cycle through what everyone's written, and then once you land on one that you like, you vote for it. So yeah, definitely space saving. And if I wanted to all fit it on one screen without like any kind of scrolling or like swiping required, I might go for that. But I think I'm gonna go with the simpler one. I think I'm gonna go with like just a screen with a list. Then everyone will be able to see it like right from the start. But I think instead of that outline I showed you before, I'm gonna do this. Votes. All right. Just to communicate a little better, that's, you know, there exists a concept as a block of text and a button to vote for it. We're going to have header, subtitle, and then the description will be in this little box with this, you know, description text there, and then a button underneath it. And then that just kind of repeats all the way down. I didn't draw the rest, but those will go down below the screen. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, that's good. Cool, man. Let's get started. All right. First thing first, we need to start our server. Hey, morning, Cliff. How's it going, man? Connor beat you to the first post. I was telling him before. I think the past like 4 or 5 days, you've had the first chat every single day. Here's something I don't really understand. It's like sometimes this integrated tool can find the port that the REPL is running on, and sometimes it can't. So I don't really get that. Good morning, sir. Anyway, welcome back to the stream, Cliff. Glad to have you here. We're building some more templates this morning. So, yeah, more HTML, more Tailwind. Having a lot of fun with Tailwind. It's like super easy to understand and get into. And man, I've like never been faster with CSS in my whole life, either with CSS or a CSS utility library. So I quite enjoy it. Load the code. Evaluate and file. We didn't start the database, but we don't need the database. And it didn't throw an error when it couldn't connect to the database. That's very interesting. It's something to keep in mind. Oh. Oh, geez. Okay. Let's get our stuff in order here. Post. And then I had a specific route, right? Like I had a... Oh, man. Okay, so it doesn't load errors there, it loads them down here. So maybe what I need to do is I need to get rid of my database stuff. Alright, now just start the database, right? That's not a big deal. Right, if we... Cool, okay, now it's open, and hopefully we should get something up on the screen, right? Nope. It's not 3030, it's 3000. It's doing a lot of localhost 8080 stuff in the afternoon, so that's where my brain is. Okay, and then we had a route for this. Plot input, right, let's just make sure this is still working. Yeah, it's still working. It's huge, but it's there. We just did mobile layout, not the full-on desktop layout just yet. Yeah, so this is where we are, and I think this will be a good place to start. So, yeah, what we need is a new template and a new route for a new template. Okay, layout. Not really going to touch that except add some more CSS eventually. And hey, let's just use the same file, huh? And let's start with this and just kind of cut stuff away until we get to something resembling a base page of sorts. All right, so header, timer. Yeah, we're gonna have all this. We're gonna have the summary too. but all this is going to be different. Man, at first I really liked Hiccup, but this is going to be a voting page. And I think I will really like it once we get into React land, but man, this morning it's kind of doing a number on my head, just trying to like figure out like where one div starts and the other one ends, which I think is probably compounded by the fact that all these elements have like so many properties on them, right? Because you know, you got like 16 Tailwind utility classes for you know, each div, and if you got like, you know, so many elements all in the same template, then that gets like really confusing after a while. And especially for this button. This button's the worst offender of all. It's like three lines of styling classes. But I think once you get to the point where you can turn these into components, all of a sudden this SVG becomes like a header SVG. Like that's how you do a React component in Tailwind, and then you know, if you got like summary text, like that becomes like summary text, and then your whole component consists of like this thing, right? So I think looking at it like all at a glance is a bit tough, but once you start like breaking these things down into separate little React components, it gets easier to figure out. Okay. Yeah, so we should have like the plot input page, but none of the like input stuff. So that voting page. All right. No such var. Voting page. There we go. And we should have that route. Awesome. Yep, that's what we got. Constant mystery to me as to when I have to like load something into the REPL and when I don't. It'll get it the first time around. So we've got like core, right? Like this is where the app lives, and contents was the file we were just editing. That's this thing over here. Yeah, you guys can see that. And on that first load, when I load the core file into the REPL here, which is where it's running, it'll get that contents file. But when I change it and then reload core, put it in the REPL, if you've made a change in a file since you did that first load, it won't just like magically bring it along. So anyway, that'll be something I gain a better understanding of as I work on this more. But yeah, it's quite confusing. Okay. All right, so we got the voting page, and then we got some stuff we need to delete. Just get these docs open because I'll definitely need them. All right. Right, so this is going to be different. Right, that's here. Voting. TRPal says, do you mean that a file being required by the core isn't automatically evaluated in the REPL when you evaluate the core? Yeah, that's what I mean. So like the first time I run this thing, I won't like stop and start it up since we're trying to get something done here. But like, let's see, I like just turned on my computer on, just opened VS Code, and I start up like my Calva session and my REPL. So like I take core CLJ, I start Calva, I load it into the REPL, and because all this stuff has been required at the top of the file, like that makes it into the REPL the first time. But what I just did was I added this like voting page function, right? And so I edited that, I saved it, I went back to core to load it into the REPL to reload the server, and then I got like no such var, and that's because I hadn't added the changed like code in this contents.clj file into the REPL. So yeah, a little bit confused on that. I don't know if that's just a closure thing or if that's like some kind of Calva specific thing. I suspect it's like not Calva and it's closure, but can't quite figure out how to like make a change in a module. Well, I do know how to do it. I'm not sure if it's like the dumb way or something, or if I'm missing something. But yeah, at least to my understanding, it seems like if you're loading a file into a REPL, then when you reload it, it should take another look at its dependencies to like, you know, bring all that code back in and see if anything's changed or not. If you just evaluate the content CLJ, it should work as far as I know. Yeah. So that's exactly what I do when I hit that error. I just evaluate it, load it into the REPL, and it's all good. But at least as a naive closure user, my second week of like actually using the language, that kind of like is not my expectation for how it works. But if that's just how it works, then that's how it works, and I'll get more comfortable with it along the way. Yeah, thanks for the comments though. I really appreciate to have a closure user in the chat helping me out with this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate that. Right. Yeah, let's close Slack. So we're not getting Slack notifications. All right, yeah. So we had to change this. No, we already changed that. Okay, then we need to change the summary. Which plot is the real one? Go now. Bot. Go to now. And yeah, I guess you should have a timer for voting, right? Should you? It's already in there, so let's leave it in there. Not a guru myself either. Just noticed you posting the closure Slack and thought I'd check this out. Yeah, cool, man. Well, welcome. Yeah, that Slack channel's great, man. I've had a lot of success, like asking questions, getting answered as I, make my way through this thing. So that's been a great resource. I'm kind of surprised Reddit isn't more frequently used for closure stuff, since for a lot of other languages, that's like one of the main places you like go on the internet to like, read up on things and check it out. But it seems like that Slack group is like where most of the closure people like socialize, for lack of a better term, and go to like get their news and stuff. Right. Which plot is the real one? Vote now. All right, so we got that, and now in this div, which used to be our input div, so much for that. We should add our plots, and those are going to be cribbed ruthlessly from what we already have. These were buttons before, so that's not the layout we're going for. We're going for like text blocks with voting buttons below them. Now I'm wondering if you can call a function in a Hiccup template. I'm sure you can. Well, actually, that's exactly what's going on here, right? The div with the content. Yeah, so I could do something complicated like that and make these plot summaries like functions that I call within the div, but let's start with the dumb way. Let's start with the dumb way. I'm taking my first steps in this thing, and I'm prone to getting tripped up on something too clever. So let's crawl before we walk. All right, cool. And I suppose you need a reminder of what the title is, right? Yeah, people are not in a super focused mind state when they're playing games like this. So I think we need like, oh, Connor, if I still got you in the call, I think I'll ask you a accessibility question. So I've got this first level heading, which is like the title of the page, voting. But if I wanted to like have the title of the movie here, like the 39 steps, does that qualify as a heading? I'm not sure it does. I think it would be like H2 movie title, and then maybe like the 39 steps. But could this be an H2? The 39 steps? I don't know. I think I'll start with a P tag to keep this thing semantic. Steps is about. Okay, Johnny's a stockbroker. Next up, let's just get these things in here. That's over here. Yeah, I think it's appropriate for a title, but as long as the sections are labeled, the rest is up to you. I'll have to stand up. All right, man. Good to have you this morning. Enjoy your workday. Labeled sections, that's a good thing to look up for later, actually. Section labeled web accessibility. All right, something to look up for later. All right. Man, I gotta get my stuff in order. Okay. Here we go. It's amazing how much programming consists of activities like this. Just copy and paste. Get rid of the white space, get it formatted, get the ducks in a row. It's not that super hackerish stuff that you see in the movies. All right, cool. Oh, this is my grid layout. So voting area. Right. Oh man, we're about to have a bunch of CSS conflicts in this thing. So I suppose I could call this include CSS thing in the templates themselves, right? So if I move this into this page, head, title, or it should just be one CSS sheet. I think it's going to be one CSS sheet. Global plot inputs. Yeah, that'll be easier. I just need to that'll encourage me to have like a consistent layout between these things, right? Because I'm always going to have a grid with like sections. But sometimes those grids are going to have different sections, right? So, maybe now it's time to get into some kind of like BIM thing. So we got a container, that's okay. Instead of like plot input grid, we can have, now let's get refamiliarized with block element modifier. There we go. Underscore, underscore, modifier is 2 dashes. Yeah, so let's do that as a way to organize things. And then what I can do is add like just one CSS sheet for this thing, which is going to be like, oh, much easier. So I think there's a lot of power module systems. I think, that's a really important thing to have. Oh, geez. I need to check my stuff here, man. I'm not doing this. I'm building game templates with Hiccup and Tailwind. There we go. Need to let the people know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, a lot of power in a template, right? But I think I got goofed up trying to make templates work with, oh, I don't even have the config anymore because it just like crashed and burned so spectacularly. But yeah, when you start trying to figure out like multiple files going into multiple places, the organizations of those files and modules, and how they like actually get into the right source file at the right time. I think I'm having a revelation that that's like a really hard thing to do. And so BIM is a really good system for like avoiding that thing, right? Because this came about because like CSS is like this inherently like global thing. So if you got a CSS sheet on the page, it's gonna affect your code no matter if you want it to or not. So it's kind of like a module by way of a namespace where like this thing is like it's going to be present on like every single page, but if you break up the namespaces into this like organized like systemic thing, then it doesn't matter if there's like code on a page that doesn't belong because these selectors are not going to select anything they shouldn't. So yeah, that's kind of like trading the complexity of like having a module system like built into a framework or built into a language, and kind of like shifts it on to like just your brain, right? Like you need to be the one who's like writing these class names and these modules correctly so they don't style anything incorrectly. So it's a different kind of complexity, but at least that's like something you can understand conceptually, like on the level of like your mind, right? Like it's not some tool that you don't understand and isn't working, and you can't figure out why it's not working. It's more something that like you did, and which is like directly visible to you. So I like that. Plot input. So if we were doing a BIM thing, we'd probably have like a plot class, but we don't just yet. So plot input header. And this is really more like the global like game stuff, right? This does not have to do with the actual plot input. This is like at the top of the screen, so that's not going to be a BIM component. Plot input grid, and then this would be like plot input header, and this would be plot inputs input, for lack of a better term. So now what we do is we just change a couple classes. All right, plot input grid, plot input header, plot input inputs. Then, do not forget to put it in the REPL. All right, if we go back to plot input, looks as it should. And now we have the namespace for making our like custom thing. Grid area header. All right. We need like voting page grid. It's going to be similar, but not quite the same. Nope. All right. Min height's going to be different. Header plots. Okay. Header grid area plots. And we're probably going to have some kind of grid thing in there for now, but let's just see what this looks like. Right, okay, so we got rid of our plot input grid weirdness, and now we've got a fresh slate with which to lay these out. Man, I feel like I've been sitting a lot this week, so I'm going to activate standing mode. Oh, move the camera. Man, if I want to be a proper Twitch streamer, I think we're going to need some better lighting for my face here, but that is neither here nor there. Okay. Yeah, so before we do that, I think we need a button in between each. Because according to the layout, which we drew in 15 seconds this morning, which will become the basis for my future income. Coming up. Yeah, we've got like the plots, and then we've got a button in between each plot. So I think I'll add those buttons, and I think we will do the actual layout itself. And yeah, from my E-Trade design team days, I learned that there's a concept of a primary CTA and a secondary CTA. So I think we inadvertently chose our primary CTA color, which Cliff was saying it's kind of like the E-Trade Grimace purple. So that was kind of a fine coincidence, but yeah, I thought that looked really nice. So I think this will be my primary CTA, and it will therefore become my voting button. So more copy and pasting. And it'll be really nice when I get that wrapped up in a component. But for the time being, it's okay. That's not. Instead of submit, we're going to say this is it. This is the one, this is it. Vote for this plot. Yeah, this is it. Vote for this plot. Never sure about my copy. Never sure about having too many exclamation points, but that's okay. All right. So, yeah, we got this plain text here. That works. I think to start, we could use a little bit of bottom margin, and I'm just going to guess that eventually I'm going to want these in their own individual divs. I'm not going to goof with that because I know I've got some IDE tools that can fix that nonsense. All right. Format current form. Thank you, Calva. And what the hell, let's get a little white space in between. All right, into the ripple. What does it look like? Of course hasn't changed because I didn't do anything else, but now I've got nice divs. Class margin bottom 5. Into the ripple. Back to the browser. And nothing. Oh. Sitting Command E, not Command R. Okay. So they got a little more space to breathe. And I want to do something with that. Do I want like a block spacing? Text formatting. Text align, justify. Let's see what that looks like first. Oh. Into the ripple, back to the browser. Yeah, I think justify looks good. Let's do that for the others. Ooh. Into the ripple, back to the browser. All right, so we're all justified. And let's see, I think if we need some styling for this, right? Can make it an H2, but we might choose to turn that into a different element later. And text 3XL, text center. How about we call that 1XL, not text white, yes center. Cool. Little wee bit of margin bottom on that. Awesome. All right. What can I do to make this text a little more interesting? And more to the point, should I even be worrying about this at this point in the game? Do I just need to like get something that works? I think for a start, this whole block could use like a little more padding, right? Yeah, I guess they both could. This is like kind of tight considering how big the text is. So maybe that's a good place to start. Padding 5. Oh no, that's padding top. Padding left, padding 2.5. Yeah, try padding 5 to start. Oh, wrong element. Yeah, that's looking better. 5 pixels of padding. That's a lot nicer. Oh, actually, that's not 5 pixels of padding. That is P5. P5 is 1.25 rem, so something that's like constantly tripping me up about Tailwind is kind of getting beyond the idea that these things represent pixel values. Really, they are ratios of your root element font size. Yeah. P5 looks real good though. That's also here. Yeah, much nicer. We'll do that for the other page too eventually. And you know what? I think I'm gonna call this good for now. It's like I kind of want to. Sorry guys, just 1 second. All right, cool. Stand in the place where you score. Now scale 0.9. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I had to go on mute for a second. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So I could do some stuff with this. I could. Put them into cards. I could give them something else, but. Yeah. Honestly, I think this is okay for now. And if the inspiration strikes me to, do something different or better with this, than I can, but I'm not going to spend like so much time agonizing on it and just get on to the next thing. So I think we'll mark this one done. All right, first page down, start to finish, including the morning summary, including the setup, just an hour. So I am super confident that we can get at least one more page done and possibly start on a third, which would be fantastic progress. Now that we've got our ducks in a row in terms of the layout for the page and all the basic stuff, I think this is actually going to go a lot faster now. So that is great. And yeah, I think we should move on to the voting page. Oh wait, no. We just finished the voting page, Andy. We should move on to the results page. Yeah, geez, so what's a results page? What is that even? That is a page with the results. What does it look like? So, okay, so you're going to have like a few things in a results page, right? You're going to have probably a list of players. Each player's plots, the winning plots, vote totals. Yeah, it's basically it, right? Because if you imagine the flow of the game, you go in, you get prompted with the title, you write your own plot, you see a summary of the plots that are up for voting, you vote, and then, yeah, you want to see who wrote what, because then you kind of get that opportunity to get into each other's minds and figure out each other's style. You need to know who won, and you need to know what the vote is. Is this one screen? Can you fit it into one screen? It's a challenging layout issue, right? So list of players. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be like the list, players at the top. Those are going to have vote totals. Then I feel like you want like the real plot and then the winning plot. Yeah. List of each player's plot, the winning plot, vote totals. Yeah, I feel like you could have like a truncated version of the plot under each person's name. Yeah, should we start with that? It'd be like, you know, Johnny Bravo, Dexter, and Bubbles. And you have like a truncated plot. Truncated plot. And then like the number of points. You know, something like that. Yeah, so I'm thinking like the list of players is up here, and the list of players consists of like that. We've got like relatively limited screen real estate if we're going to try to fit this on a phone screen, so I think that fits there. And then you've got like the real plot here and then the winning plot, so you can see like who won and what it actually was. And that comprises all our elements. Well, it's kind of a tricky layout question, isn't it? Yeah, we'll start with that. I'm not having any better ideas right now, so let's just start there and we can course correct if we're having issues. Okay, contents. Yep, results page, not the voting page, but the results page. Results. Okay, we got that function. All right, we're gonna try to do this without the REPL throwing an error. So load this, because there's new stuff there. Restart the server because we have a new route. No errors. Okay. And if we go to the results page, it'll be the exact same thing, but it'll soon be different. All right. Results page. Okay. Yep, so we got the header. And then we should have a different BEM thing going on. Plot inputs, voting page grid. Plot input. Oh, we didn't even do anything with these. All right. Voting page layout. Input page layout. Results layout. All right. Results page grid. let's just have some fun here and watch this thing. Cool, okay. Now we get rid of all this. Div. Just double check. All right, cool. Yeah. So instead of voting, it's going to be results. Results, rels. All right, and no timer necessary, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory what this page is about, so I think we can get rid of this. Unmatched delimiter, done with that. So we deleted. Cool, so we got results. Yeah, so let's build our list, right? Yep, so this is gonna be like an unordered list. Just get rid of this. An unordered list with some list items. And I like our Cartoon Network character names, so let's go with it. Johnny Bravo. And let's add a bunch, because that's going to be like a good representation. Well, man, how many players do you even play this game with? I'm not exactly sure. So, yeah, you know, we can't know that because we haven't tested it with anyone yet. So, let's just assume it could be a lot. Like maybe start with 5. Dexter. DD famous Cartoon Network. Finn the Human, oh, of course. Slightly past my prime cartoon watching years, but you could argue that those never really left me. Finn the Human. Let's see. Mordecai, because we got Connor here. And let's do Secret Squirrel. Six. Yeah, that's reasonable. I can imagine playing this game with 6 people. Yeah, that's actually more room than I thought I'd have. I'm not totally sure that this is like a super accurate depiction of a smartphone screen, since we were having those weird phone browser issues, which seem to have magically healed themselves overnight. Oh no, it's because it's responsive. iPhone. Is that really what it looks like on iPhone 10 Firefox? I don't believe you. Let's keep it like it is. Okay. Alright, so we got all those. And they got the right font. But within them, they need a vote total. Yeah, so let's figure out the vote total layout. It'd be like bubbles. It was dark and stormy. And like I guess you want like a concept of like how many votes you got this round, and then like how many votes you've had total, right? So votes, it's going to be like 3 total, 10. Oh yeah, trash boat. Yeah, so I think I'll want something like that for the list items, right? So name of the character, summary, vote total for like this particular round, and then the total for like the whole game, and then we can kind of summarize that information all at a glance. We don't have to like add extra screens or something to actually find that out. Okay. Right, so man, all of a sudden the idea of component for this thing is becoming much more appealing. So that's a lot of that's a lot of stuff. Let's just start with something real small. But first, let's add a comment so we can know how this thing is laid out. And I'll get a little closure practice along the way too. This won't be so different when we get into React. Might not be different at all, in fact. Results page stuff. Okay, so if we want to define a function for our list items, we would define a function for our results list item. And how about it takes a name? Li with the name. Yeah, I assume we just call it like that, right? Three, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's start with that. And let's see if we totally made this thing go bonkers. Okay, so we got the exact same thing we had before, which means we wrote it correctly. All right. Just a little template baby step, that's all. All right, so we have list item with the name. Here's a question. How do we pass a variable and HTML content? Look at p test. Is this thing on? Is this valid? Hiccup. It is. Excellent. So a really massively cool thing about Lisp, which I will take a brief interlude to point out. Well, I said Lisp, we're closing and closure, but closure is kind of a modern Lisp, is that everything is treated as though it were a list of things. So that comes down to like how we're doing our HTML here. So this header thing is really a function called header, and it's taken as 2 arguments, an SVG and an H1, and then it turns that into HTML. And then it's the same thing that's going on here too. So it's as though we had this function called const list stuff. It's as though we were doing something like that in JavaScript, where instead of having like individual arguments for things, we just have this kind of collection of things that we want to pass to the list item function, and we just pass it straight in, and doesn't matter if you've passed like one thing or 50 things, that list of stuff will just get appended to your elements. So if we want to put something before the name, we could do like a span Lisp is cool. And then before each of the names, we would have something like that. So yeah, it's just a really interesting way to think about like programming in general, and a really cool way that you could like kind of change a function on the fly without needing to go through like too many hoops or anything like that. So right, brief interlude. I think it'd look good if that had a little like offset on it. Was a dark and stormy truncation. So it would have like a class margin left 2. I think would look good. Yeah, very cool. Okay. I think the whole thing should have a little margin bottom associated with it, so like class margin bottom 1. I'll give us 16 pixels below each, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, a quarter of whatever our rem value was, and 4 to get to 1 rem. Interesting choice. Wonder why. Oh. Right. Yeah, so we got that. And I think we need like a itty bitty grid layout for doing the actual voting totals. So let's just like stub these things out to begin. Okay, so it's going to have a name, it's going to have a truncated plots, it's going to have like a, it's going to have like a votes, hell, let's have a little fun with this. String votes, and then it's the JS math.random. Math.floor, math.random times 10. JS math math.floor JavaScript closure script. Yeah, but how do I use it, man? The math namespace. Yeah, math pi JS math.random. I think it's going to complain that this thing is not in the namespace. Okay, so we're going to do JS math random, JS math floor, multiply by 10. These need to be their own individual function calls. Oop. No such namespace, JS. How to require to use JS and closure scripts. Closure script and JavaScript interop. JS / any top level namespace is accessible through JS namespace. Unresolved namespace JavaScript. I don't think I am. I know this is a closure file. Random int Java. Nope. Randint. Yep. Randint. Yeah, this will be a much easier method than your typical JS strategy for doing this kind of thing. Randint 10. Okay, so we got some votes. Total votes. Randint 20. Loaded in, no errors. Results page. Nice. Okay. All right, so we got some votes and we got some total votes. We got some elements, and now we need a grid. Okay. Class, what do we gotta call this? Voting results. Voting, what we called before. Vote totals list item. Results page. Player summary. All right. Results page, player summary. Let's load this in real quick. Okay, so we got this. We got the name, which I guess should go into spam. And should these have class names of their own? I think they should. Player summary truncation. Class player summary votes, and then a class player summary votes total. Class player summary name. Very good. That's fun. It's fun working in the domain of stuff that changes and looks as though it could possibly work one day. Those little random integers. That's fun. Yeah, if I want to be really excessive, I'd give random player names here, but let's not get too enthusiastic about these silly things. Boy, that sounds like something a mean grandpa would say to his grandson, doesn't it? Okay, player summary, and then let's just copy these class names into our CSS for reference. All right, player summary, display grid, and let's see, we want to have like two rows, 2 columns, doesn't need to be. more complicated than that. Repeats to one fraction. And the columns will be like 70, 80%. 80% 1FR. May need a min height. All right, so we're gonna say like name, truncation, vote total. Vote truncation total. And we'll just add some grid areas. Super easy. Okay, grid area name. And you're missing a brace. Okay. Truncation. Votes total. And let's see what this makes it look like. Not quite what I want. In fact, not what I want at all. So after the CSS inspector we go. All right, so we got that. That's cool. Results page, player summary. Not seen it in there, so I think I may not have given this the right class. Yeah, I did though. Results page, player summary. Should have display property of grid. It's in there, but it's not showing up. Is it in our style sheets? It's not. That's strange. Plot input CSS. Do we need to restart our server somehow? Well, it's kind of weird, right? Because we've been making changes to this thing the whole time, but it's not. Oh, you know what? I bet it's cached. So I've had problems with a Clojure server before related to caching. Indeed, it was cached. All right. Something to look up for label section labels, web accessibility. Stop Clojure server caching. Something to look up for later, because that has goofed me up more than once now. That is one of those classic things. Oh yeah, look at what look at what we've done. Okay, voting page is still fine, I think. Yeah, voting page is still time. That's not right. Now let's figure out our grid problems here, and then let's move on to the next thing. Name concentration. Yep, grid area name. Grid area truncation. Truncation. Okay, will that fix it? Yes, it will. Excellent. So we can already see that we've got some spacing issues, right? So be interesting to know what the character count is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Call it like 20 characters I can get away with. Let's see. Here we get to inclusion notes. So let's reload that. Let's see if this fixes things. All right, so we're not breaking lines or anything like that, but now everything is like just a little bit too tall, and it's having its height set by the tallest item in the grid. So I think there's ways of mitigating that. I think this could be like a little less than 80%, right? Like 70%? Oh. Yeah, that works. 68%, but then we're in danger of like cutting off people's names if they have really long names. And 60% is just, oh man, it was zoomed into, geez. So what if we bet back to 80 now that our font size is not zoomed in? 80%, not quite enough for the vote totals. Yeah, so that's looking okay. I think I want to have some kind of like justification here. So all right, we need to change that in the real CSS, don't we? So not 80%, but 70%. Oh, this caching thing is going to get me in the end. Okay. Right, so I think I want like this left aligned and like the number right aligned. That is not so difficult. Okay, votes and vote totals. I could probably get away with the same CSS class for both of those, but in the interest of not tying myself into a knot too quickly. 10:57, geez, we are rocking. This is going way faster than it feels like. That's really good. Okay, display grid, grid, grits, true grid templates, grid template columns. Yeah, call it like 70% again, 70%, one fraction. Only one row, so we don't need to specify that. Oh, but we didn't, oh. Okay, so we just got a string right now, so really what we want is a span. 2 spans instead of 1 string. Span votes, the votes, with a space, span total votes, with a colon, that span consisting of the results of the evaluation of the random int function, range of 0 to 10. Okay. Great. And I wonder if you can justify text in a span. I'm about to find out. Class text rights. I think that would be cannot. Okay, but we were cached. Or maybe we didn't actually load the file. Anyway, cool. Yeah, so this is good stuff, right? All right. And maybe this needs to go into a box to be sure. So it should have its own card, and I think maybe some like overflow on that box. Okay, voting area. This is not the voting area. It is the it's the what do we call this thing? Player summary. Yeah, but we call this like results page summary container. All right. This is in the results page grid. We need a different grid for this, right? So we need the header, we need the summary, and we need the real plots and the winner. Great. Then we need different heights for the rows. So we'll call this like, was this 20%? Call that 30%. That gives us half of the page to work with. So 20, 30, 20, 20. So 2, 5, 7, 9. And that gives us 10% of the height of the page, well, the height of the game area for margin between all those sections. Okay. 20, 30. Wow, is that really 20% of the page? Yeah, I guess so, right? Let's find our grid. Results page grid. $10, 30, 20, 20. That looks like way more than 30 to me. Header, voting area, real plot winner. Div class header. Yeah, we still got that timer div. Don't need that. So we got that out of the way at least. Why are you so huge? Yeah, maybe this will be easier to see if we actually add those divs in. Before that we need some form formatting. Okay, so green div, there's the summary container. And we need a div, and will be the real plot soon. And I will be the plot that won in due time. All right, so we got these four. Now we can try to figure out what's going on with our layout here. Oh. So what if we did something like extra silly and just did like 10%? 10%. We wouldn't see it because the page is cached. Or maybe we wouldn't see it because there's something going on. It's somewhat beyond my ken at the moment. Columns, rows. Yeah, columns takes up the full width. That makes sense. The rows are all 10%. That makes sense. Minimum heights. Well, so it looks like the grid item will expand. Maybe that's because we don't have the overflow on it yet. So that's something we can get from Tailwind. Indeed it is. But we're going to have to wait for it. Overflow X scroll is what we want. Overflow X scroll. We need like a max height on it too, right? Max height. Call it 200 pixels to start. Right. Alright, so if we put a max height on it, then that'll fix some of the weird grid stuff we have going on. And yet I've told these rows to all be 10% of the height. Their enclosing grid container. And yet for some reason they're not really playing along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are playing along, but you're smaller than you need to be. This must be way larger than 10%. That must be 2. CSS grid, CSS tricks. Let's go back to school on this one. First, a little off-screen cleanup. All right, and we've been standing for long enough, so we're gonna move back down. All right, so we've got display property. I think I get that. Our columns and rows. Track size and the space between them represents the grid line. What state of disk do you have? Do you like it? Yeah, I really like it actually. Beyond the store standing desk. Yeah, I bought this one. Shop category discs. Electric adjustable discs. Yeah, they've got like a bunch of things you can get. I think, with voice control, I didn't know that. I think I got like this one, which is on sale or something. But cool thing with this is you can actually like order it with a bunch of different like features. So They've got like a base model, and then from there you can choose like what you want, like the size of the test, for instance. They come in like different like form factors and come with different features. So if you have like one you want, but you want to customize it to take away some bells and whistles that you don't want, then yeah, it ended up working out. And yeah, it's like assembly required, but yeah, the stuff was pretty straightforward to assemble, and I've had for maybe like I had this since September. Yeah, so going on like 4 months, working out perfectly. So yeah, I can recommend it. I figured I'd be doing this work from home thing for a long time, so I may as well invest a little money into the whole experience, so I'm not hunched over at my kitchen table anymore. All right. Yeah, we get that. Free space is calculated after any non-flexible items. Yeah, that gives me an idea to do this. Maybe if we like call out some specific sizes and then just say like one fraction, that wouldn't necessarily bring me closer to understanding why this is happening, but at least it'll give me the layout that I'm trying to achieve. 10, 20. Yeah, that's close enough to what I want, so let's just go with that. Okay. Cool, you're looking to make one. Yeah, I recommend it. And actually, the interesting thing with this kit is it seemed like relatively easy to just kind of like bring your own like table surface to. So if you had like a tabletop you have already and you want to buy the legs and the equipment to like make it adjust height, then yeah, I could easily imagine that you could like bring your own desk, and that would cut down the cost pretty significantly there too. So yeah, that's something I'm thinking of doing maybe like down the line if I find like a nice wooden desktop on some like crappy table. I can just like chop off the legs and switch it out with the one I have now. All right, so looking at this, I think I want to do a couple things. I want to bold the names. That's exactly what you're looking to do. Yeah, you should look into this. Yeah, you might not want one that's like too wide or like too like deep, because I think the issue of like balance and weight comes into play eventually. So yeah, you can go on the side and see what the dimensions of the tables are, but that's like the one thing I would keep an eye out for. But yeah, otherwise the actual equipment itself is really nice. Okay, right. So I want to bold the names. Text bold, I believe it is. It's not. Text weight, text font weight, font bold. Could be a little bolder, right? Font extra bold. Yeah, it's looking good. And you know what? I think I want like a boldness and a color on the vote totals. So span class, text weights, font extra bold. Now we get into font color. Color, text color, red, and then there was a, oh, that's what I want to look up. There we go. Yeah, what's a nice color for this? Think like a red. We use the red for the timer. Maybe like a green. Maybe like a red for the vote you got in this round, and then like a dark blue for how many colors you have total. Maybe like a red 600. Text red 600, I think that is. Red 600. Yep. Nice. Okay. And then like a blue 700, I'm gonna say. Text blue 700. Yeah. Red and green, both red. I'll try it with green, but yeah, it's kind of Christmas, isn't it? I'll leave it with blue. That is one final experiment, maybe just a darker blue. Though I think we're getting to the point where it's hard to distinguish between blue and black with that kind of shade. Yeah, we'll start with that for now. That's cool. All right. And being cognizant of the screen real estate space as always. Yeah, we bump it up just a little bit for your name. And might be just a little bit too much. Yeah, we got plenty of room down here. Assuming we like actually have all this like very long screen real estate, which I don't think we will. Did we actually put that overflow? Overflow X scroll. So theoretically we haven't actually overflowed our container yet. If we put like 16 secret squirrels into this game, what does it look like? Still don't have it right. So this needs to be a max height. What is the CSS I would use to tell a grid item to not exceed the height of its container? Grid item, height of container. Overflow for grid item inside container. Preventing a grid blowout. Yeah, max width 100%. Min-max 0, 20%. And then we need like a max height. Don't think that's going to do it. Nope. So that was for grid width. The problem we're having right now is grid height. By default, a grid item cannot be smaller than the size of its contents. Grid items have an initial size of min width auto and min height auto. You can override this behavior by setting grid items to min width 0 and min height 0. Or overflow with any value other than visible, setting grid items min width 0, min height 0. %. Summary container. Are you getting any of those styles? I don't think you are. Have I simply given you the wrong? Yeah, no. Player summary. Oh, I've been putting this on the wrong class, you silly Billy. Results page summary container. All right, back to VS Code, player summary. This should have the min width 0, min height 0. And I've got that overflow class from Tailwind on there. And I think that will, oh, can't load that in. All right, summary container. What classes do you have? Okay, min width 0, min height 0. But you're still too tall. Overflow. Overflux. Overflow scroll. Yeah, we already had that, now we're overriding it. Min max 0, 20%. So that doesn't seem to do it either. Yeah, I could do like max height. That would give me basically what I'm trying to achieve, but that's not exactly in keeping with the whole grid ethos. Max heights. This is not going to do it. Yeah, well, this is a fiddly thing that I can figure out later. So let's not get too wrapped up in it and just trust that it's a layout problem we can figure out after the fact. All right, great. Yeah, now we need the real plot and fake plot, right? So let's add those. Yeah, it should be their own cards. Everyone's in a card on this page. So let's see. Grid. Yeah. All right, so we can copy you. Now be the plots that want in due time. All right, cool. So we got this up on the screen, and now let's just get some like sample copy. Let's get our fake "You've Got Mail." Let's get our fake. Which one of these do I like? I like this one. That was probably my favorite fake plot that I wrote. Okay. Join in on a wacky thrill ride of mistaken identities. Definitely not text 5XL. All right, now we just need a indication of which was the real one and which was the fake one. All right. So if we do like what are we at? H2. We can copy this stuff, but make it a little smaller because it's a smaller header. The real plot was and the winning plot was. All right, let's see how this looks. Great. Text center is probably not what we want. We want text justify. Text justify, yep, that's the class. Text center, yep. Text justify. Back into the REPL, back to the browser. All right. Yeah, man, I think we're looking good. Yeah, I want to get 2 pages, and I got 2 pages. Great. So we're at 11:28. Let's see here. I think there's like 2 things I want to do. I want to fix that because that was broken the whole time, but we didn't know. So I want to fix my header, and then I think if I have time, I want to explore this like text truncation thing because this is something we can do with a normal closure function. Well, we need to be careful because this is going to be a closure script file soon. So we can't use closure utility functions. Well, a lot of them will be available in closure script, so that's probably not such a big deal. But anyway, yeah, it'd be really cool to write a function that could actually like truncate this text since we've got like, you know, just like a you know, hard-coded thing here, right? Like that's all the same text truncated to the same length. So yeah, let's write a little utility function that can do that for us. That'll be a good little baby step text processing task for me to do. Okay, so here we go. I think we said like 20 characters is a good truncation limit. Thank you, Andy, from 20 minutes ago. Yeah, so let's write this. So defin truncate truncate plot. It takes a plot and yeah, how would we call it? A truncation length. All right, so I think we're going to use the functions, the take function. Oh. Take function includer. Yeah, so we're going to take, and then we're going to concatenate. I'm going to have to turn this into a vector first. Okay, create, use, letters, trim. Yeah, we can use trim. Move right space, can't use trim. All right, so we need to turn it into a vector first, and then we need to take the n number of characters from it, and then we need to add the ellipsis. So I think I know how to do this. I think I can do this. Okay, truncate plots. So we're gonna say like plots. Gonna turn that into a vector. And then we're going to take length from the vector, and then we need to turn the vector into a string. Well, let's see what that gives us first. Ooh, excellent opportunity for REPL practice. Let's truncate plots, def plot. It was a dark and stormy night, and all kinds of other stuff happened to. So let's save that. Let's truncate this to 10 characters. Plot. And I think it's Control Enter to evaluate inline. Truncate plot. Okay, I guess we need to like actually add that to the REPL, or maybe we can evaluate it inline. Okay, so we added that namespace to the REPL itself, and now I think we can run it. But we did not add plot to the namespace, and now we can run it. Wrong number of args, 1 passed to truncate plots. Oh, it's because I passed it as a vector when I should have just really passed it as a list of arguments. Plots. Vector plots. Well, I got a list back. That's not exactly what I wanted. What I wanted was a vector. Okay, so we got a vector. We got a string. We got a vector with one item that's a string. Yeah, how to split a string. If I was doing JavaScript, I would split. Use count gets subs compare join escape splits. Here we go. Splits strings on a regular expression. Yeah, I want to split by character though. To get back all the characters as string as a vector of strings. Yep. Yeah, it's easy enough, right? Is this an anonymous function that just returns a string? Oh no, this is the hash is a regular expression. All right, so instead of turning it into a vector, what I want to do is I want to say a string split our plot on empty lines. So if I load that, oh, message namespace string. Of course, I need to require my string functions, and of course, they will not be available in ClojureScript, but I don't imagine it'll be too hard. Okay, cool. So we got our vector of strings, string splits, and then we want to select that forward. We want to take length before we get too ahead of ourselves. Let's load that in. Let's run it. Now we've taken 10 characters, and it's a list again. Take length, and then want to like join all those. Join a list. Clojure, join a list into a string. Join a collection. String join by commas. Don't want to join by new lines. I want to join by character. Join. Into the REPL. Oh, just sent a plain empty string to the REPL. Thanks, Andy. It was a duh. And then I want to use our handy dandy string function to take all that and join it with an ellipsis at the end. Send it to the REPL. Evaluate in line. It was a duh. How about 20 characters? It was dark and st. Excellent. All right, we got our truncate plot function. That's real cool. That's oh, it's 11:37. That was 11:47 for some reason. Okay, so we got like 20 minutes left. Yeah, so let's get rid of our demo plot now that we know we have this function that works. So this is a good demonstration of that that whole concept of like functions and Clojure just really like coming down to the idea that like everything's a list, right? So Truncate Plots is the result of like calling the innermost function first and then calling like the outer functions as they evaluate. So, and the color coding makes this really easy to see too, right? So we've got like this like blue paren, the red paren, the green, and the purple. And so if you look at the colors, you can see like this purple one is the most deeply nested, so that's the one that gets evaluated first. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that plot argument and we're going to split it on an empty string. And then the result of that function we pass to its enclosing function. So we're going to take X number of characters from that split string, which is like now a vector, right? You can think of a vector as like an array in JavaScript. And then from there we'll have a series of like characters, so like a list of characters. So we want to join those. And then after that, we want to take our string function, which will take the result of calling all those functions one after another and just like plop an ellipsis on the end. Oh, this is a good demonstration to do as well. So string itself takes like a series of arguments too, right? So let's add this into the REPL. Let's add that to the REPL. Let's evaluate this inline. So you see it was a dark and and there's like no gap between like the end of the string and the ellipsis. So what we could do, and what I have done in a couple places on the code already, is like something like this. Oh. What? Oh. Need to have your cursor on the right part of the form. So we could just like add like a space in there, like just like in that string. But if you didn't want to do that, all you'd have to do is pass this function string an extra empty string. So if we do that, it was a dark and space ellipsis. And then if we wanted to get like really goofy, we could do like even more things to add with the space on the beginning and the end, just to make that easy to read. So there's the result of our like original function. Here is that like string we added, and we can just keep on adding strings until the cows come home. So that's really cool. So I kind of like that extra space. I want to leave that. And yeah, just like one final thing. The example you see with this like all the time is like with like addition and subtraction. So in JavaScript, it's like 2 + 2, and like that's 4, right? But in Clojure, the plus operator, it would be an operator in JavaScript. In Clojure is a function, and you can do 2 and 2. That'll be 4. You can add another 2 onto the end of that, which would be 6, or like a 10, or like a range from 3 to 6. So that'll give us an array of like the numbers of like 3 to 6. Long range cannot be cast to Java lang number. So I wonder if we could like add those. I think we need to do like apply plus to a range of 3 to 6. I think that's what we need to do. Yeah, right. So that's like 3, 4, 5, 6 all added together. So if we want to make that like 60, that'd be 1,767. So that's like super cool. Oh, don't like cats. Thanks for joining in. Hey, hi, big respect for what you're doing. If you want to do it more efficiently, you could also use apply string take length plot to get the truncated part of the string. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, let's. This is kind of like my my JavaScript brain, which is like doing this process right now. But yeah, let's try that. Define Truncate Plots 2. So it takes a length and a plot. Yeah, so what's that? Apply the string function. Oh, I need the Y. Apply the string function to the result of taking the length from the plot. All right, so we're going to take this number of characters from the plot, and then we're going to apply the string function to that, plus, I think I still need my ellipsis. And, yeah, let's see if that works. Truncate plots 2, 20 plots. Let's add this to the REPL. Oh. Add that to the REPL, and what's the result of? Oh no. Are you sure I don't need to split this first? Because take operates on a list, right? Or at least I thought it did. Clojure docs, Clojure core, take returns a lazy sequence from a collection. So I think I still need to take, like, split this, right? Like string split plot on an empty string. split. And if I do that, still a lazy sequence. Remove the you need to concats. Oh, okay. Ah, perfect. So we split it, but do we need to split it? One too many parens. Add it. Oh, interesting. Take from the length. Yeah. Wow. So to take like cast a string into a list when I called it on plot, because I would have thought that I'd have to turn the string into a list in order to like, you know, take this function that operates on a collection. But yeah, maybe there's something going on like behind the scenes that I don't know of. Yeah. So if I want to do that, you're saying I need to concat my ellipsis to the result applying, all that stuff. Oh, whoops. So now just concat, oh, I need to put that at the end, okay. Wrong thing. Yeah, let's just add the space to make this a little easier. And now I think I've got a list I need to turn into a string. Yeah, thing is apply, we'll expect the function and a list. Haha, nope. Cat take, yeah, so I think I need to like join on the result of all that stuff we're doing. Nope. My parens. Back up, what did I do? Join into a string. Into there. Okay, cool. So now we just need to take that list, join it in. But yeah, that's definitely easier to read, right? Apply string. Apply string, concat take length plots. Yeah, let's make a truncate plot 3. Let's see how many ways we can write this. Okay, apply the string function. Apply string concat. Let's just blow this out of the water. That'll be good for practice, right? Apply string to the result of concatenating concat take length plot truncate plot 3 20 characters plot. Add to the REPL. Concat the string. Truncate. Nice. Yeah, this is the way, man. This is the way. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing. We're taking a certain number of characters from the plot. Take was passed a string, but it's smart enough to turn it into a list, I would assume. Sorry, difficult to write this all out in chat. That's cool, man. I got way more done this morning than I thought I would. Now's a good time to get some lessons in from someone who knows way more about this language than I do. Okay, so let's walk through this. We have taken a certain number of characters from the plot. Take really needs a collection, but it's smart enough to transform a string into a collection. We are concating that collection with an ellipsis, so just for like a visual aid. What we've got is like, it was a dark and stir, and then we've got like ... So what that becomes is like this. Oh, I get it. Okay. So this function gives us that. We're concatenating an ellipsis, which gives us this. And then, that's exactly what I was doing down here with the addition function. So range 360 is going to give us like a vector of all the numbers from 3 to 60. And then we essentially pass those as arguments to the addition function. So yeah, we pass all those vector of strings to the string function, and it just joins it all together for us. Take doesn't do that though, it exploits the string into characters, right? Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, let me passing string to take function. I'm gonna do up some reading on that later after we end the stream here. Yeah, wow, this is exactly what I'm trying to get out of this language, right? Because that's just like such a dense little man. Hell, how about we make it a one-liner? Like, oh man, if I was gonna do that in JavaScript, I think it looks a little better on 2 lines. But yeah, man, if I was gonna do that on any other language, there'd be like all kinds of like intermediary variables and just things in between where you do like all those steps we just did and then like eventually join them together at the end. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful thing to look at when you can do it like all in line with that, with these like super semantic little like helper functions that you know, you can like really depend on because, you know, they work well and they're like simple in scope. Yeah, that's what I want. Cool. Yeah. Really appreciate you joining and kind of schooling me on that, man. Thank you. That's our truncate function, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. Let's get rid of all our test code and actually use this. So truncate plot. Man, hell, how about we pass in some real plots? Okay, a young monk. Join in on the wacky thrill ride. Hey, no schooling, only learning. That's good. I like that. A gentleman thief. Yeah, it's very easy to get into the trap of, you know, thinking you're like not getting it or you're behind or, you know, there's something you need to like bang into your head. But yeah, we're just learning, man. We're just learning. Okay. Name and plot. So now we got an extra function. Truncate plot. The plot. Let's add this in. Reverse. I think that's okay. Let's head back to our results page. Oh no. Right, we need a length. 20. Nice. Let's call it 30, hell. We got room. Excellent. Gotta go, have a good one. Yeah, I'll see you around, man. Hope to see you again soon. All right. Nice, guys. Well, I think that's a great place to end the stream. And yeah, we actually made a lot of progress. We got not only our templates, we got our voting page, which is huge. And yeah, we got our templates up for our results page, and we even got to write a little bit of like real honest to God closure to like render these list items with their respective elements. So anyway, let's head back to our Typora page. Done. And with a little bit of bonus functionality to boot. Cool, guys. All right. Well, we're going to end the stream there today. Yeah, what do we got? We got the game lobby, we got the login sign up page, and the user settings page. Yeah, login sign up, that's something we can just like copy from somewhere on the internet. Game lobby, I have no idea what that looks like yet, so we'll explore that at some later date. User settings page, that's going to be like super basic because we don't have enough time to get real complicated with that, but yeah, no, I'm feeling good about our progress so far. So anyway, thanks for joining along with the ride. I will see you next time, and yeah, have a nice afternoon, everybody.